Oh, that's not in the right spot. Alright. That's a lot better. Cheers, everyone. Hello, everybody. My name is Hunter64. For those of you who know me, you know that we like to make a lot of videos on this channel. And for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Hunter64. Really, I wanted to make this video today because a lot of videos, you guys know, I usually make some type of original demo, or if I don't make a demo, then I'm usually making like some type of arrangement of a song. I'd say probably out of all of my videos, this many have original songs. It's a lot of songs. I had someone approach me, one of my subscribers, thank you guys for that, and they were wondering, so how do you get inspired? Like, if you can't think of ideas for a new song, or like, what do you do when you're stuck in a rut? And so I was gonna record this video earlier, but I ended up scrapping it just because I wanted to kind of plot my points down a bit better. So actually, let's jump into how we get inspired again. The first thing that I usually do when I am not like running low on ideas, but I just don't, I guess like I'm not feeling it, is I have a folder actually dedicated to just riffs that I just came up with. So it's weird, I call it the Riff Folder or the Scrap Folder. And what you do is anytime you have a riff or just any kind of song idea, just go into the folder, and it can have either your one instance of your DAW, it can have multiple instances for different songs, and just record the idea. It doesn't even matter if the idea is good, it doesn't matter if the idea is bad, it doesn't matter if it's just that one riff and nothing else. Just have it so that way later on down the line, when say you are feeling uninspired, you can always go back to your riff folder. And sometimes hearing something that you made in the past can inspire you to make something in the future, or vice versa. Sometimes I'll go back into the riff folder and I'll find a riff, and I'll have a new riff that I might have made maybe yesterday, and say today I'm like, I don't know what to do after this riff. And if you go back in your riff folder, sometimes those riffs can actually connect together. And I've actually made a couple songs using that method, so that's why I put it at number 1. The second thing I can offer is just to practice more often. And not practice in the traditional sense where the run your scales and stuff. Try to do more creative type of practicing. So like you can take like etudes or ideas. If you don't know what an etude is, it's kind of like a short musical idea, and you can take those and turn those into exercises. You can do like all sorts of stuff. And sometimes I've actually turned exercises that I've created into actual riffs in a song, just because it was something that I would usually play a lot, I've been practicing a lot. And sometimes if you speed it up, slow it down, or just move the notes in a certain way, that can help you create a whole new riff, which can help you create a whole new song. The third thing, and this is a really big one that I know that's kind of hard for a lot of people, but it's switching your writing perspective. It's kind of hard to tell people to switch your writing perspective, especially for people who aren't multi-instrumentalists. So like myself, I can play multiple instruments, so for me it's very easy to change my writing perspective. So what I mean by change your writing perspective is, so say you're primarily a guitar player, say you're primarily a drummer or a singer. What most of us do as musicians is we tend to do what is comfortable because it's what we know. And sometimes doing the most comfortable thing is the reason why you are hitting this barrier, because you've ran out of, I guess, comfortable ideas. And the next thing for you to do is to step outside of that boundary and do something that would be uncomfortable, which will allow you to then feel re-inspired again, because maybe you discovered something new, or maybe it leads to you wanting to practice a new skill. This is all very useful stuff. But what does this have to do with the writing perspective? So circling all the way back to the writing perspective, say I'm writing a song on guitar, right? And a lot of the problem is that I'm just writing guitar riffs, and I can't think of how this guitar riff matches up to this guitar riff. Well, especially a lot of times, especially if you are doing band type music, not everything has to be centered around your guitar. I know, shocking. You have a bass player, you have a drummer, sometimes you have a second guitar, sometimes you have a keyboard, sometimes you have a singer, sometimes you can do so many different things. And because of the flexibility of music, it's honestly, you could throw curveballs and that would be counting as switching your writing perspective. When you start changing your writing perspective in that sort of way, it allows you to then free up the potential for your music. And then that's when you start getting actually really creative and great ideas, because you're not trying to follow a formula. I feel like I've been preaching on this for a very long time, so I'm actually just gonna cut this one short right here and move on to the next point. For point number 4, and this is another kind of vague one, I've put down watching exercise videos. And I'm not talking about exercise like Bill Burns, Tybo type stuff. I'm talking about like I'm trying to think, like going on YouTube or going on Instagram, you'll see a lot of musicians and they'll post something that maybe they've been working on, like an etude or an idea. The main thing that I like to do is go to drum videos, and a drummer may be explaining something like the difference between a triplet and a herta. And sure, that's just an instructional video saying like one is a triplet and one is a herta. Like that's all it is. But sometimes they'll throw in examples of how to use it, and you, not saying that you should steal it, but you can actually get inspiration from it. Like you can hear someone do a herta or a triplet pattern, and you can say, yeah, that's actually a really cool idea. I feel like I could throw a guitar riff over that. And just hearing different ideas from different musicians can inspire you or make you motivated to want to continue a song, or let you know where the direction you had in mind for the song went before you kind of lost that idea. I want to preface though that this is not rip off musicians. Please don't go and just rip off musicians unless it's like a parody or comedic intent. Then fine, whatever, but please at least credit the musicians in it. Jesus Christ, I feel bad that I even have to say this. For the last tip that I have, which would be tip number 5, it's actually really simple. It's just to take a break. Sometimes, and I'm very guilty of this, you will have a song or you'll have a riff and you'll just sit there and you'll keep smashing your head against the wall over and over, and then your confidence will just dwindle and dwindle, and then because you feel bad that you can't create the next part of the song right then and there. And this is just a very big trap with the kind of generation we live in now, where everything is just at the click of a button. Everyone wants things immediately. And sometimes you just need to step back and just realize, hey, it's not going to happen today. And if you force it, then you're going to, 9 times out of 10, if you force it, you're going to be unhappy with what you forced out than what would have came out naturally. So if you're stuck on this idea, stuck on the song, and you don't know what to do with it, sometimes it's best just to step back for the day. Say, hey, I'm finished. Like, I can't do any more with this. And then it can either go into your riff folder, or you can come back and revisit it at a later time. And sometimes just having that rest and that peace of mind, and just not even thinking about it, just allowing it to exist in its own space, and then you can come back and work on it later. Number 5, I would say, would be taking a break. It's something that seems very simple, but it's also the one thing that a lot of people have a hard time doing. Like, it's very hard to just let go. And I understand that as someone who makes a lot of music as well. Those are my 5 kind of tips. And if you want to reiterate them, it's first one, to get a riff folder. The second one is to practice more often. The third one is to switch your writing perspective, which I feel might be the best one in my opinion. And number 4 is to watch exercise videos, followed by number 5, which would be taking a break. These are not guaranteed to work. Every person's different, every situation is different. These are just the 5 tips that helped me a lot along the way, and I feel like just having these kind of as a back burner or in your pocket is a very good way to not feel very bogged down, kind of tied down to what you're expecting of yourself. Because another big problem that especially me as a creator we usually have is that we are our own worst critics, and sometimes you will have a riff that you've written down and you will have the next part that you wrote, but because you're your own worst critic, you will sometimes dismiss those ideas. Sometimes you'll say it's not good enough, or no, I don't like this anymore. And that's why it's good to always save your progress, no matter how much progress you made or how little progress you made, because once again, you may not think that part is right for the song, or you may not think it's right now, but it could be right for something else. Anyways, that was kind of my tips on how to get re-inspired. I know this video is a lot different than normal. I just kind of wanted to put it on and I guess speak from personal experience about this kind of stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am Howner64, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.